So I'll make that 6:30, Sensei.
Good. Okay. So everybody feet together. Yes, good. Okay. Welcome to tonight's class. I'm not going to do a warm up. We'll get straight into it. We've got an hour. I'm going to do 45 minutes of training and then a little bit over, and then short span for questions and answers on tonight's class or any other topic you want to talk about. Don't ask me about football. Okay. Don't ask me about rugby, and don't ask me, okay, when COVID's coming to an end. All right. But any other question you can ask me. Tonight, class, we're going to look at a drill called Boko Ryoko. It means 6 defenses, okay? And we're going to then look at the transitioning from uke to ate. So, as some of you who've trained me, Konishi Sensei was not that a great fan of blocking. That doesn't mean he did block, but his whole emphasis was about striking. And the way he taught uke was in a way that was slightly different to how we traditionally been taught uke. And it was just because he wanted to get the concept to go to where the opponent's hitting you, don't try and block something on its way in, because you'll never stop it. Okay, so we're going to go through the drill. The drill's very, very basic. There are two base versions, Boko Ryoko and Boko Ryoko Tegata. So it's 6 defenses and then 6 defenses with hand. In other words, you do it with a Gyakuzuki as well. It's very, very easy. We're going to do like we did last week, break it down, do it in sections, and then do it on. So you're going to get a little bit more, which is good. Okay, so from here, right? So say Boko Ryoko. Okay, so step out first, okay, with your right side. Step into Zenko Todachi, okay, Sashite Arage, ish. Then from here, move into Shikodachi with your right foot to the left. As you do that, block down, Gedanbarai. Good. Then from here, we're going back into Zenko Todachi and do, okay, so in Shindo-jin, we call that Soto Uke. Yeah, so some of you will know it as Uchi Uke. Okay, and there's a reason for that, is that this movement with a weapon for us is Soto, okay, and this movement is Uchi. And because our system is combined of Kobojutsu and Karate, okay, we use the same terminology. So from here, once you've done Soto, Sashite, make Uchi. Then from here, push, very similar to last week, push down rather than back. Push down into Nikolash and do Shitochi. Good. Then into Shikodachi, Skoke. Then into Yoi. Good. Now we're going to do that off the left side. Sashite, Age. Move your left foot. Gedan Barai into Shikodachi no Kibarachi. Then we're going to move the left foot back. And we're going to move into Soto Uke, then Sashite, and then Uchi Uke. Good. Then push back, okay, into Nikolash and make Shitoki. Now, so in Shindo Jinru, okay, we have a stance that looks like Nikolash, and it's called Yokoashi. Okay, it's slightly wider, okay?
So you can't see the feet there. If you want to show that.
Okay, let me come back. Okay, can you see my feet? They are beautiful. I have manicured them, okay, with a wood file. Okay, so from here, Nicholas Yokoashite. I'm not really bothered for tonight, okay, which stance you're in. But some of the Shinojin purists get very concerned that you must be in Yokoashite, not Nikolashite, okay? Then from here into Shikodachi and the circular movement Skoke. Good. Then back to Yoi, then right, left, here, and then back. That's the drill. Now we're going to break it down into sections, and I want you to do it in these sections. So from here, right, Good, then here. Good, so your first count, okay, make agate. Good, then from here, move your right foot into shikudachi. Good, back to yoi. Okay, so I'm going to count all through it. Okay, I can't see you, but my assistant over here, who's sat in a naked, is watching you. Okay, and he's taking note of anybody that's sitting there not doing anything. Andy Arnold, for instance. Good, okay, so first agate. It's important that you show the tachite first, and you'll see why in a minute. Then from there, move into shikudachi. There. Good, and back. So if you can try that with Paul, okay, I'm going to count it first. Nearly went off with the wrong foot then. No. Good, back to yoi. Good, and again, with Paul, please. No. Good, back to yoi. Good, so try that, just one count. Let's go. Good, so now we'll go on to the second count. So stay in shikudachi and stay in gegenbarai. From here, soto, san. Good. Then uchi, shit. Don't forget, don't just do it with the one arm. Sashite down here. Good. Okay, back to yoi. So the first count is ariroke gegenbarai. There. Good. Go back and do that one count. Right. Good. So with Paul, one count. Good. Now the second count, okay, which is sotoryoke uchioke. There. Good. So you've now got two counts. Back to the beginning. Good. There. Good. Back to the beginning. There. Good, so now I want you to do all four, one count. So back to the beginning. Let's go. So Bokoryoko is a drill that's in the Shindo Jinru. Okay, and it was done instead of marching people up and down and doing kihon. I think it was done more for space economy than anything else, especially for training our Honbu in Japan. It was quite tiny. So when you're about 30 people in there, it was very difficult to march people up and down. Well, that was my impression. It actually predates the practice of karate or kurate that Konishi started doing first with Funakoshi Sensei, then with Mabuni and Motobu Sensei. We think it comes from the Tananuchi Jiu-Jitsu. That's the idea behind it. The techniques, okay, are changed to accommodate the practice of karate. Okay, so we'll try again. Just those first four techniques as one count. Keep up with Paul. Let's go. Good. Then from here, okay, push back. Not that way, but down. So you remember we took a Zenan last week about transitioning? That feel. Good. Then from here, right foot across, cover around, stop. There. Good. So let's go back to here. Good. There. Good. Okay, so let's go back to Sotoruke. Good. Let's try. There. Good. Let's try that one count. Okay, Paul, is everybody keeping up?
Looking good, Sensei.
Let's go. Let's go. Good. Okay, just your hand a little bit further forward. And stop your shoulders from round. Good. Not your boobs out, okay, but just try not to crouch that way, just natural. Good. Okay, back to you. So now we're going to do all 6. Okay, 6 defenses. Okay, as one. Okay, from your way, let's go. Try and keep up. We're not going to go fast yet. Let's just try it. then once more. Good, and once more. Good, back to you. So, stay there. So you now enjoy, you've done it on the right side, now you're going to do it off the left side. Okay, so let's just do the first two. Good, okay, and back to Yoi. Just off your left side, let's go. Back. Good, okay, so we're going to do those two techniques and stay in the Shikodachi Giramara. Let's go. Good. So then from here, now, Soto, Uchi. Try it. And once more, go back to Shikodachi Giramara. Good. Once more. Good. Okay, so now back to the beginning. We have two counts. First count is the Agiyuki Gedo Marai. So let's try it off the left side. Let's go. Now the second count. Good. Back to yours. So we've got two counts. Let's just do that. Those two counts. Good. Back to yours. Once more. Good, and then stay in that position from here. Now remember that compression to here, to there. Good, back to Yoi. Good, so when we come back to Yoi, okay, when we've done the whole sequence, we'll finish it. But first what we're going to do is we're going to go through the left side, okay, in 3 counts. The first count will be Agiyuki Gedo Marai. Second count, okay, will be Sotoyuki Uchiyuki. Third count, okay, is compress into Yoko Ashite or Niku Ashitachi, okay, Shitoke, okay, Skoke. Okay, so, you ready, Paul? Are you all ready? Just say, hi, Sensei!
Hi, Sensei.
Are you ready?
Hi.
Say us to me. Okay, say that when you train the JKA. Let's go. Okay, let's try it again. We all back in the order?
Hi.
Good. Yeah. Good, I'm back to your. Good. Okay, so now try the left side, 1 count, please. You ready?
Hi.
That sounds like 2 of you already. Are you ready?
One.
Okay. Except we have a Steve that's not
I
muted.
don't trust them all to have mute themselves.
Okay, good. Well, we'll get all the abuse then. Let's go. Good. Good. So let's try it again. No! Back to you. Okay, so now we're going to go through the whole drill off the right side and the left side. I know it seems like there's a lot of repetition, okay? And this is only defensive, okay? But the principles that we're going to be picking up on, you'll see when we start partnering, okay? So, and I know some of you sat there on your own and doing this on your own, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate some of the principles behind the change from Uke to Ape. Okay, telling you how to, with these techniques, you should all have by now. Okay, so yo. Together. So from here, in Shubarachi, red, say, Bokoryoko. Left hand in front of right. Pull to there. And just let your knees gently, not bolt upright. Okay, nice and relaxed. Okay, not too bent. You're not a sprinter, but relaxed and ready to move. Okay, so first, the right side. Okay, let's go. Now the left side. Now. Then come back into yoi from here. Good. Then right foot, left foot, turn. Okay. And then literally come back to here. So then bring your heels together and just bang. Okay. So we're going to start from the top. There is a ki on the spolke. Okay. At the end. So ready? Feet together. Ready? Ready?
Hey. Hey.
Yeah. No, good. Okay, so if you've now got that, we're now going to put the Gyakuzuki into the same drill. So from here, so this is Boko Ryoko Tegata, okay? So 6 defenses, literally if you translate it with hand. They mean skirts, zuke, punch, okay? So there, say Boko Ryoko Tegata. Good. Good, so off the right side first. Good. Then into Shikodachi, get it back. Now you move back into Zenkotsu there for the Gyaku. Good, then from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back into Gyaku. There. And ki on that punch.
Yeah.
Back to yoi. Now we're going to do the left side. 1, 2. Good. 3. Back into Zenkotsu for the punch. 4. Kia. Good. Then back to yoi. Yeah. Good, then back. Okay, so we're going to try that. We're going to break it down to count. So we'll start from the right side, do Agri Gyakuzuki first.
Right.
Okay. Feet together. Ready?
Right.
Good. Say Boko Ryoko. Good. Okay, then from here to there. Okay, so let's try the right side. So Agri Gyakuzuki and stay there. Good. Now move your front foot into Shikodachi, then moving it back into Zenkotsu and deliver Gyakuzuki. Now. Good. Then from here, yeah, make Sotoryuki, Gyakuzuki, Uchiyuki, Gyakuzuki. So, good. Okay. Then from here, push down back into Nekashi or Yokashite and Shitoke, and then pushing Gyakuzuki. So. Then from here, okay, Skaluke, then Gyakuzuki.
Hey.
Good. Then back into yoi. Everybody back into yoi. Good. So now we go up the other side. So Sashite, Age, Gyakuzuki. Try. Good. Then from here, okay, move your left foot into Shikodachi, Gegambarai, then back. Gyakuzuki. Good. Now, and from here, okay, Sotoryuki, Gyakuzuki, Uchiyuki, Gyakuzuki. Good. Sa. Then push back into Koko Sudachi, Niko Shidachi, okay, or Yoko Ashite, Shitoki, then push back forward into Gyakuzuki. So, then back from here, okay, into Shikudachi Stoke, okay, Gyakuzuki and Kia. So the last, after you've done Stoke, okay, Gyakuzuki on both the, with your left hand and your right hand, that last one, you Kia. Good, and then from here, then you come back into Yoi, and then you finish, yeah, heels together and back. Okay. So from the top, let's go from the beginning. So this is Shubudachi, Re, say Boko Ryoko Tagata. So right side first. Okay, a little bit stronger now. Let's go. That's you. And the left side. There. Okay, so remember, if you do this, you have to come back in and punch, then punch there. Okay, so let's go a little bit stronger now. So just from your, okay, start to think about your energy dropping down. But the first thing you want to do is put your hand in their face. So Sashite, one, then punch. Okay, then from here, one, then punch. Then from here, one, then punch. Two, then punch. Here, then punch. Then here, ta! Then back to your. Then you're going to do it off the left side. Okay, so let's try it. Right side, a little bit stronger. Traditionally, when training, we'll ki on every punch. Yeah, and that's just really just expressing your own spirit. So if you want, you can ki on every punch. Okay, because I know you've been wanting to yell at the neighbours, okay, for a while. Let's go. Side, yeah. Good. Then just come back into your. Let's try to get off the right side. Okay, ki on every punch. Let's go. Good. Left side. Good. Okay, just relax a minute and get your breath back. Good. So if you want to take a quick drip of water, you may do. Steve, not beer, just water. Good. Okay. You've all had a quick sip of water? I'm being very nice. I don't normally allow drinks of water.
Only beer.
Normally only beer. Good. Okay, so let's go through the whole drill. Okay, and then I want to talk about some of the concept of uke to ate. So ate in Shinojinu is striking. Okay, and I just want to talk about some of the concepts of the uke. Okay, good. So feet together. So remember, Mishubadatsu in your bow. Good. Bokoryoko Tegata. Good. Here. Good. Okay, do you want to go through it to count again? No? Okay, let's go through the whole drill. I know we've done it, when we've been in class, but it was a few months ago. And within the Shindoji, this comes quite early on in the grading, so it's quite a basic drill. Okay, let's go. Shima! Good, stay in your... Good. Really good? Okay, once more. This time, stop thinking about your form. Just think about delivery, okay? And the points I want you to think about when you're delivering, like on that first woman, think of shooting your hand out. Wow! There, okay? So don't go so deep in your dachi, okay? Think about hitting the face, putting your hand in their face, from here, covering as you come in, and then punching. Okay, and try and think it as one delivery, not as 1, 2, 3. Think, okay, and more relaxed. Then from it, that's how you feel. Okay, let your hair down a little bit. Okay, think about delivering rather than form. Okay, because we all know what form does. Okay, let's go. You ready?
Right.
Well, you ready? Right. Relax. Let's go.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so relax. I mean, shoot it short. So this time, don't go so deep. So when you step, think of here. That distance. Come back to the kamai, so your hands are in front of you. Okay? Think one, there. Okay? Think one, think one, okay? Think so a little bit more fluid in your body movement and not so deep. But have the conception in your head, okay, when you're going forward, you're driving them to the ground. Face in, that's the feeling. So it carries on from the principles we were teaching last week about weight shifting, transitioning, and using gravity, okay? So let's try again. Shorten the stance, more relaxed. This time, not so formal, not from here. Start with your hands here. Okay, so the threat's imminent, it's coming, okay? You might need to be first. They're being aggressive, shoot your hand into their face. That causes a reaction back. Drive in and punch them. Okay, let's try. The side. Don't stop. Don't stop. Mess up. Okay, and you stop. The form's ruling you. Hey, do you understand me? If you mess up, don't stop. Carry on. It's not, the idea is to maintain the form, the idea is to get you moving. Yeah? You know, you can do the form again, and you can do it slowly. Okay? That's a dojo principle. This is keiko. Okay? Now, this time with the basic, okay, this kihon, I want you to be more relaxed. I don't care if you mess it up. What I do care about is if you stop. Yeah, because if you stop because, oh, that was the wrong technique, you're going to get it. There isn't a wrong or right. There's just delivery. So we're training a different principle, or I should say an attribute, okay, to the principle. So the first one, we started out in a very rigid form. Yeah, you had to hit that stance. You had to perform the technique. Most of you here are at least downgrade upwards, okay? So I don't know, have we got any ground belts in the class? Yeah, I think we might, Graham might be on this, so maybe. Yeah, well, Graham's on this. So your Kihon, okay, has to, if you're still doing your karate the same way you're doing it as a purple belt, and it's not progressive, then it's not effective. You can't be. Yeah? You don't drive your car, those that drive here, or ride your bike, Malcolm, the same way you did when you first got on your bike with your stabilizers. You've progressed. And this is the whole movement is progressive. If you remember, you know, I often use that analogy about when you first learn to walk and your mum or your dad holds you up, or your great aunt, okay, because it was my great aunt who taught me to walk. And you're moving around, they're holding your hands, and if you're still walking like that, when you get to 25, there's something wrong. Yeah? Well, you've got a serious problem. So in your martial arts, it has to be progressive. There's nothing wrong with doing, go back to the key, I'm working on the form. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if your movement has got to be progressive, the concept of dachi is to learn is static. So it learns stability. It's transitioning from one stance to the other that's important. And then once you've mastered that, it's making the stance functional to your application. So this time, don't worry about hitting the perfect front stance or hitting the perfect sheep, because they're exaggerated anyway. Yeah? Look, you all know you don't walk up and down the street doing this. All right? If you do, people will think you're a little bit odd. All right? Just as I do. You know I'm odd. You need to be able to move, and you need to be able to shift your body weight forward, down, back and down, okay? That's what that exaggerated principles are teaching you, that weight shifting. But once you start moving, you've got to be fluid. And you'll often hear karate instructors use it, or mizu no kokoro, mind like water. So I use it to death. But I'll still see people going, bonkity, yeah? There's nothing wrong with training your form as long as you know why you're training. All right? So now I'm saying to you, don't worry about it. I'm not worried if you mess the stance up. I'm not actually worried if you mess the uki up and get them in the wrong order. What I am worried about is you stop them. Because if you were in a fight, you go, oh, covered that one, stop over. I used the wrong hand, smack. Okay, or you're up on your head. So you've got to start thinking, transitioning your thinking as well as your training. All right, so it's part of your training. You ready?
Hey.
If you mess up, I'll slap you. Just going back to normal. All right, so relax, get your mind right. Don't start from yoink, start from here this time. Have your hands up. Yeah? Remember what I've told you. CCTV, my client was telling them he was defensive, he was giving up. No, I'm not. I'm covering myself. But, you know, if you just go to court and the CCTV comes out, it will look that way. Good. You ready?
Hey.
I forgot I was on this class. You ready? Let's go. Lovely. Silky rigid.
Hey.
Okay? So don't be doing it like that. Don't go so deep in your stance. It's a problem because we've been trained. Zenkutsu! Yeah? So we go into it. All right? If I want to go that deep, there's got to be a reason. So from here, just short. Wow! There. The thing that I want to drive is the punch. Yeah? From here, imagine my shoulder's being grabbed. Okay? So I want to trap the arm. Yeah. Okay, let's go again. Think of shorter delivery, faster delivery. Use your dachi to stop you from falling over on your delivery. But think about hitting your opponent. Think about breaking away from them and hitting them. Think about turning their body, because they're stronger than you, because that's what's happening here. They're stronger than me. I can't pull, okay, and I can't push. But if I whip quickly, they'll go down and forward, especially if I bring the arm and cover myself, okay, and then back in and punch. So start to think a little bit differently. You ready? Where's the nunchuck? If you step too deep, I'm just going to whack your toes, all right? All right, I'm joking. Let's go. You ready? Relax, hands up. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Bus?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Get your breath, get your hands ready. This time, I'm not bothered. Be moving on your feet. Be moving on your feet. Now, don't move into your first foot by retracting your foot. If that foot's what this one's going forward, don't go back in your defensive process. Look, I've mapped this out to you before. If you imagine a V on the floor, all right? If I'm defending myself, the worst thing I want to do is go back. I want to go up one of the V's, and I want to go forward. So think I'm here. The person's being abusive. Move on your feet. Look like you're ready to run. Look like you're ready to run. Okay? There we go! Okay? Try and cut down. So watch what I'm doing. I drive off the front foot, not the back foot. Okay? I'm here. Yeah. That's the one that's pushing me. Feel like that when you go. And stop thinking that I'm not hitting them till I do the punch. You're hitting them with the first technique. You want to stop them. That might be enough for them to go, wow, then you run. Okay? Or you run through up the V, actually, and away. Okay? Preferably if you're wearing the shoes that Paul normally wears, get rid of them, because the stilettos really hammer your ability to run fast. Okay? So, ready, yeah? And be moving on your feet, okay? I call it, it's like a cat. Have you ever seen a cat treading on its own blanket? Yeah? It's like that feeling. Oh, look, you look nervous. No, you're getting ready to move. You're getting ready to either escape or fight. You understand? But don't stand still. All right? Don't go rigid. You want to be relaxed. You want to try and relax yourself. Your stomach's churning. Okay? Your little heart's going boom, 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 boom. Your legs want to do this. All right? It's completely normal. All right? Because you want to know. You want to know. You don't want the fight. But he's coming. There you go. Okay? Claw him in the face first. You ready? Ready? No, not side to side. See, his other job is an exotic dancer. Okay? On the spot. Yeah? Yeah? Okay? Good. You can just try and help it. Good. You ready?
Hey.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. So, doesn't matter. Who's checking? It's not grading. We're training. Yeah, if you mess up, it doesn't matter. Keiko means to play. Right. So we mess up in here as much as we like. It's healthy. Yeah? Right. What's not good is if you stop. What's not good, okay, if you're too worried about is my technique looking good? No, does my technique stop somebody? Is it going to stop them? Yeah, so later on in these classes, we're probably going to carry on running them till we can get together. Okay, but a number of people said, Sensei, could we still have a class perhaps once a week, once a month online? We're going to look into that, and we'll go by people's votes. If you want to do that, I'll still do an online class, even when we can get to cuddle each other. But what I'm trying to get across is some base principles of how you should approach things. Okay, so one more time. Are you ready? Hands up. Okay, doesn't matter which leg's in front. And I'm not really bothered which side you go off with. But you've got to do at least, not all 6, but at least 5 of the defenses. Yeah? Or maybe 4. I'm not bothered. You decide. You decide, not me. You. Okay, so we're now basing the exercise off the drill. So it's progressive. We started off with a very rigid drill. Now we're flowing. That's the idea. You decide which leg's going to go first. It could be the left side, it could be the right side, entirely up to you. It doesn't have to be Aggie you start with. Okay? You could start with Uchi-Uki. Or you could start with the Gedan Barai. Entirely up to you, I'm not bothered. But work on doing 4. Yeah? 5, 6 is probably too many. You should really be able to do somebody. Sorry. You should be able to start a situation with 3 techniques. So if you're ready, when you're ready, okay, will you stop doing that with your hips? Okay, when you're ready, try! 8! 8! 8! 8! 8! No. 8! 8! 8! Good. You can have a breather now, all right? I'm just going to go through some of the principles of uke to ake. Okay, Paul, can you just join in? We're going to work from here. Okay. So this age, sashite, you'll hear me say it a lot. I can remember when I first started doing karate, and people used to say to me, Mark, where are you going? Why would I do that? Okay, so he's being aggressive hands here. What? That's where my hand wants to go. Yeah? That's where my Aggie wants to go. Okay? 1. And look what happens to his body. Okay? Face, neck, up, down. Suddenly starts to make sense. So that concept, okay? Face. Actually, I want to get the fingers in his eyes, up his nose, anything that's going to cause him discomfort, so he's squinting. Okay? And you don't have to be strong. But if you're feeling heavy, you think, bam, straight away. Yeah? Now I'm off the V. All right? So, age, that sashite is the name of the hand. Sashite. Age, skip. Okay. So then we looked at Gedan, and we looked at that body shifting Gedan into Shikamash. So this time, it's hand on your chest in here. Yeah? I can't push back, he's stronger than me. But if I turn, I can push down. Look. So I shift and turn. Now it makes it easy. 1. Ah! That reacted now, didn't actually. So the idea is they're a lot stronger than you. You can't go forward, and I can't go back, and you know, to go against. But my danger is here. The minute I do that, that stops it. Then that. Dropping energy. Yeah? Okay. Boom. Dropping energy again. Get that up. Yeah. So we've looked at sashite age. Okay. Here. The one that I didn't show you, because I'm saving it for this one, is we often get told, oh, when you do sashite, bring the hand here. Bring the hand here. And it's the same principle. Okay? 1. That's the idea. So we're going to do what we call soto uke first. So as he comes, yeah, he's coming round to punch, yeah. I haven't got time to go from here to block him. No, there, that's what I want. And again, I'm going to the V. My next stage is here. 1. So now I'm using that technique to strike. That's the idea. Okay, and if you can see that, we'll turn you around because the director's saying, all you can see is my bum. Okay, I know it looks big enough here. Okay. Good, so from here, that feeling, as you can cover, look, here, get there. Yeah? So watch again. There. So the movement is very natural. Yeah, so you're seeing it from here. I get my cover here. 1, 2. Okay, so then soko, I'm too late. Sorry, uchi, I'm too late. So don't go out to stop it. So if he's punching around, the worst thing is I should do that because I'm meeting force with force. What I should be doing is going, no! But it's easy. So watch again, as he punches around, I go where the hand is covering. Yeah, here. That strikes and then pop in. Okay? Did you get that?
Yeah.
Good. So the last two is shto, okay? And again, shto and skoki. Shto, again, is building a frame, a cage. Oliver Sensei always used to say when he taught it, he says, think like a visor, then bring the hand down. And it makes sense. I'm getting abuse here. Now, what he's going to do, okay, so look here, yeah? This covers me here. Even if he's punched, he's covered. No, back. And I can strike here. Okay, so watch again. Visor up, there. There. Right? Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the throat. The other principle is actually hitting into the limbs. Okay, 1. There. Just straight down. See it? Then punch. Okay? Good. Good. Okay. So the last one was skull kick. Okay. Skull kick is an arm trap. But again, it's normally done. We teach it from here. They come around 1. There. Okay. And punch. So watch again. It's out my blind spot. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, very light, so he flies like a bird. So I've explained that, don't forget we're videoing this so you can see these basic uke to ate drills.
Hey.
That sort of brings us to the end of today's session, all right? So we're going to just go through the last bit, we're going to go through Boku Ryoko Tegachi again, but we're going to go through the structure, the form. All right, so right away back to the beginning where we started.
Hey.
So, Boku Ryoko Tegachi. And we're going to do it count. So 1 count is the block and the punch. You got that, Paul?
Hey.
Okay, don't fluff it up. I've left him fluffing stuff up because it's important. This is Keko, we're training. You're supposed to make mistakes. And if we came out here and we did everything perfect, I think that's wrong. It's better to make mistakes in training. It's where you're supposed to make them. All right, you ready, Paul?
Hey.
So, just the age, sashite age, gyakuzuki. Try. Ish. The next one is the shift with the front foot into shikodachi. Okay, gate and barai, then shift back into Zenkutsu, punch down, Gyakuzuki. Ne. Good, so now from here, we're going to go Sotoryuki, Gyakuzuki, Uchiyuki, Gyakuzuki. Please try. Sa. Then from here, we're going to push down into Nekolash, or Yoko, I should say. Okay, Shitoke, then punching Gyakuzuki. So, good, and the last one, into Shikudash, Shikoke, Gyakuzuki, and Kia. Try again. Now we're going to do the same off the left side. Still to count. Let's go. Ich. Ne. San. Shi. Go. Move. And yoi. Good. Back to yoi. Then in. To here. And heels together and red. Good. Okay, so what I want you to do now I want you to do the whole drill on your own, but basic like that. Okay? Ready?
Hey.
So feet together, ready? Boku together. You ready? Shimmer!
Here.
So when you get to the end, from your feet together, good, and there, and heels together and back, good. The ritual at the end is important, and people often say, oh, it's just tradition, tradition. It isn't. It's part of the training. It's actually trying to get into that concept of mapping process in your mind, and you being in control of you. Yeah, so you go, your preparatory controls to the violence, back to being back in control. You understand? That's why we do it. So don't ignore it, don't deny it, and don't say it's not there, because it is. Because all violence, most of us, when we have to face it, we lose it. It's natural. Okay, we hit that flight or fight syndrome, and we make the choice. And the choice is always, if you can get away, you run away, you get away. Yeah, fighting is the last thing you want to be doing. We train for fun. We train to enjoy it, but we also train for that one instance that happens where we can't get away. So train safe, yeah, and enjoy it while you're training. Okay. That's the end of today's physical class. Paul, how much time have I got left?
About 10 minutes, Sensei.
Good. So we've gone a little bit over than we normally do. This is a Q&A bit, so if you've got any questions on what we've done tonight or anything that we did last week, now's your chance. Or if you want to talk about anything other, as I said, football, rugby, and when COVID's coming to an end.
So if you'd like to ask a question, if you could put a hand up and I can direct it to you. Anybody? Mr. Marriott would like to ask a question.
Yes, Stephen.
Hi, Sensei. Just a couple of questions from the basic form. The agyuki, is it shomin or hanmi? Hip position.
Okay, so it's a very good question because Konishi Sensei very rarely used his hips. He was always very direct. So forward, shomi, is normally what he used to do because he called it age te rather than agyuki. But because we teach both today, so we will teach, it's entirely what you're teaching. If you're teaching it as a defense, okay, maybe that your initiation stays the same, and you might teach it to a lower beginner, okay, as age uke. But as a senior, you might want to teach it as age te. Yeah? So it's your choice. But when I saw Konishi, he never did it as age uke. Everything, his rule was if you can block people, you can hit them. Okay, and a block is normally to secure somebody, okay, and he was very much into bash them in their limbs as well. You never know what they can carry, and you don't want to be able to pick anything up. So he was always very keen for you to hit into the limbs.
And the Zenkotsudachi, is it full stance or half stance? Zenkotsudachi.
Zenkotsu?
Is it full or half? Full or half? Half stance. Full stance or half stance? Again,
depends what you're training for. Okay, if you're training to strengthen the legs to a lower grade, then you may want to go into a full stance. But higher grade, you should be more thinking of delivery, and it should be hand zenkutsu rather than full zenkutsu dachi. Again, so the drill should be adaptable to the grades that you're teaching. With lower grades, you might train in a longer stance, but once they've mastered that stance, you want to short it and work on delivery. Certainly, when I trained Konishi, he was very old. but I used to say, oh, he's in a short stance because of his age. Then one day I saw him doing flipping Gion, and his stance was down here somewhere. He says, I just feel like stretching today. O'Neill Sensei, once you got past a certain grade, we never went into a full Zenkutsu Dachi. It was all about dynamic delivery, and it was all about compression to explosion.
Right. Thank you, Sensei.
Pleasure.
Phil, you wanted to ask a question?
Steve Sensei stole my question, so I have no question.
That Phil, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you, Phil.
But can you ask me in English instead of Hebrew? I've stopped speaking Hebrew a few years ago.
Steve stole my question.
Steve stole your question. So the floor's open again. I can't see all of you at once. So if you've got a question, shout up, please. I can't see anybody else. Has anyone else got any more questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Who's that?
Guess.
Oh, it's Malcolm's got a question, Sensei.
Is there any particular reason why the drill finishes off with a punch in Shikadachi rather than it moving out of the Shikadachi?
Yeah, I think that when the drill was devised, okay, it was just practicing transitions from stance. So you go Zenkutsu, Shiko, Zenkutsu, Nekoashi or Yokoashite, okay, then lock into Shikodachi. But when I do the applications, it's irrelevant, all right? Yeah. It really depends on, the drill is just a way of keeping those techniques in a compartment. When you practice them, it's irrelevant. So you can take them out of the compartment, but I think it was just a matter of containment now. It's like kata. You know, you have people who say, oh, you did the cash application, but you came off the embusen. Too damn right I bloody did. He's trying to cave his skull in. The embusen of form is a process of way of remembering things rather than a process of delivery. Now, that's an overgeneralization. I think it depends on the kata, because in some instances, the embusen is the application. Yeah, and you should play around with it. You shouldn't be contained by the drill. You should be constrained by the application.
That's the difference between fighting with it or not, really, sometimes.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Look, the stimulus on your own is the kata. The stimulus with an opponent is the damn opponent, what he's trying to do to you, or what you're trying to stop him doing to you. Because that was Konishi's other thing was, he said, oh, is this sashite thing? He says, they're getting closer, stop them because you fear that you're going to get damaged. He said, before they do damage you. You know, I always remember being in Okinawa, and I was with Higono Sensei, O'Neill Sensei, and a couple of other individuals, senior individuals from Higono Sensei dojo. And we were talking about the Karate ni Sentanashi saying, and the Okinawans started laughing. Well, two of them did. And Higono Sensei told them off. And I said to him, why are they laughing? And he said, because, he says, there shouldn't be a first attack. If you feel the opponent's going to attack you, you be first. You stop them before they start the violence and take control of the situation, which I thought was a beautiful concept, and I've adhered to it ever since. Because if you wait for the violence to happen, it could be too extreme. You know? If somebody's attacking you out of your blind spot, you want to be thinking of entry and escaping, okay, dealing with it, rather than, oh, I'll cower and I'll take the hit, because the next one could be a blade. Okay. Sorry, I've got on my hobby horse again. Any other questions?
Sensei.
Sensei?
Yeah.
Hi, Steve here. So each of those drills on their own is basically the three first parts of evade, enter, close quarter. You can obviously add to that with the other two parts, couldn't you? So this is...
Yeah, of course you can. You can, look, you can do any... What I don't want you to get into the concept is that we have a syllabus for grading. The syllabus that we're adhering to now covers 2/3, okay, of the form that is actually was taught by Konishi Shindo Junior. His whole concept was to get you to move from a static, rigid movement to free-flowing movement. And he encouraged people to adapt and modify and make stuff work for them. The student who I know is on here tonight, who's got a poorly hip, and we were talking this morning when he came for training. Kanishi had this guy who had his hip cage crushed in an accident. And he used to come in the dojo on crutches, this guy. And he was in his 60s. And I thought, wow, typical arrogant 20-year-old. I used to look at him and go, well, he can't do much.
Look at us now.
And then what he used to do, Kanishi sitting on the side, and I was waiting for him to put the crutches down and fall over. No, he taught him how to use the crutches as a weapon. And he trained alongside us. And by God, if he ever hit you with a crutch, you knew about it. Because there's no way you could have any control of it. So he had to modify. If you've got an injury, and something that's a permanent injury, you've got to work around it. Yeah? And so your form is going to be based on you, not on it's got to look like this. That's competition. If you're a competitor, there's got to be a structure that you've got to be scored by. In reality, the only person who decides whether your form's working or not is you, nobody else. This is why there's so many different styles and different masters that have come about, because somebody follows an instructor and they actually start mimicking that person's body movement. Yeah? And what you're actually doing, that's slightly wrong. What you should be doing is evolving your own body movement eventually. So that concept of shuhare is first accept the tradition, then make the tradition work, and then become your own damn tradition. Because if any of this stuff is going to work, no matter what style you're doing or what system, it's got to work for you, not me. My stuff works for me. Is it pure Shindo Jinryu? I'll tell you what, it's pure Shindo Jinryu to the concepts that Kanishi was teaching. People get hung up on, oh, it's got to look like this, and this style looks like that. That only matters if we're creating a competitive arena where people are going to be scored. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's nice and healthy. But if you're training for your self-protection, it's got to work for you. Not the bloke over here on the left who's got shorter legs and one arm. He's got to do something else to work for him. But it may be based on some of the principles you've been training.
All right.
Okay?
John had a question. That'll be the last one, John.
I think
So there we go.
yeah, I think you just answered that question, Sensei. But my question, but I was going to follow on from Malcolm at the end when you're talking about the finish, the punch. I see it as a flow into the next move, into whatever happens to be next.
Yeah. So I think
John's
John's
a scouser. Listen, he's a scouser like me. Normally we can understand each other, but he's talking to you. So I'd like to translate my scout's brother.
Okay, so is this movement at the end, is that flowing into anything else?
Yeah,
So
It's a trap. It's a trap. So this, if you saw when I did it to Paul, this is a cover. Then from here, what I want to do is turn my body. That's this turning into Shiko back. Okay. You know, I'm going alongside. I want to trap his arm this way, and then I want to either pull it. Okay. Yeah. Or I want to hold it as I then turn back and punch them. Is it going into anything? I just treat it as a trap. I have seen people do it as a lock, and you could say to here, okay, well, you've got to have pretty strong fingers to do that. I have seen people demonstrate that, and I've gone, I'd rather just be working on the limb and saving this one to give them a good clunk with.
And then do the shooting.
good. Okay, so that's the last question tonight. So. So next week we're carrying on with these.
We're carrying on next week with 3 classes in March. If you want to join us and haven't registered yet, please can you do so this week. There's bags of room, okay, but it'd be like to see the same sort of room. And if there's something in particular like me to cover, then I will. I mean, I've got classes in my head, but if there's something you'd like me to cover in particular, just email and say. And if I say no, I can't because I'm rubbish at that, I'll be dead straight with you. Or if there's something, oh yeah, that's a good idea, I'll make sure we cover it in these classes. Also, let me know as well if you want to carry on after lockdown, and we'll do one of these, probably one a month. I'm hoping to get the monthly black belt classes going up at the Digswell Hall. The mercenary people at Digswell Hall keep messaging me saying, when are you coming back to use the hall? I said, I can't, otherwise I'll get arrested. They said, oh yeah, what about that? But as soon as we can get back in there, then, you know, all the Shindo Jinru stuff over here, it's only the JKRI stuff that is JKR people only. I don't know what was scared of. All the rest of the stuff is open. I've always had an open, but I don't care where you come from. Put your gear on and come and train, you know? And if you can get something from value from it, that's great. I'll end up with saying, as I always say, anybody who stands out here and tells you've got all the answers, they're telling you porcupines. Train with some of the greatest fighters in the world who really could do the business. I'm biased. The only one I ever found that I thought had all the answers was actually Terry O'Neill. And by that time, I'd been to the other side of the world and come back on several occasions. Kanishi Sensei was also like that, but he was also very open. He encouraged people to train with other people. And I love seeing you all. I'm missing you all desperately. Being locked up in my house, okay? My Japanese has got a lot better with the wife. That's about the only good thing. And I've lost quite a bit of weight, as you can see, which is going to continue because it's made me feel a lot healthier. So next week, if you want to join us, you'll need to register in. Please get your emails out and register in.
Some people already have.
That's fantastic. Okay, I look forward to seeing you all next week. Feet together then, we'll just bow ourselves out. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much. And I'll see you all soon.
Sensei.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Sensei. Cheers, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.